Hi guys, this is Crystal, and I am off to Shambhala here on YouTube, and this is another episode of Reseller Shop Talk. This is like take number 5 because, let's see, the first take I took got split, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to redo it, and then, because I don't know how to put two videos that are disconnected together, and, I need to really learn how to do some kind of video editing. And I just do like straight shots, and that's it. That's all I can do. I don't know. There's a word for that probably. And then I did another one, and then the second one I said something really inappropriate, and because I don't know how to edit, I couldn't edit out the inappropriate thing that I said. And so then I did another one, and it turned out really good, but it wouldn't let me upload because that's, you know, because me and tech don't get along. And I'm like, okay, I've had this problem before, and then like nothing, it won't let me upload to YouTube, and then I can't do anything until I erase. Or I need to spend more money on like something that I can store more stuff in my phone, which is probably what I should do, except for I don't like this phone. I'm going to be switching over to an iPhone. Tried the Galaxy phone. It's kind of cool, but it's really weird, and weird things happen. It's like it has a mind of its own, and a lot of people really love their iPhones, and I want to try it out and see which one I like better. So I don't really want to invest any money into this particular phone at all for anything, and I guess YouTube's just not that important to me. But also, I am planning on getting a new camera, and hopefully whatever the new camera is that I get, I can will be better for videography when I do YouTube videos. So someday I will be a good YouTube video maker, but right now I'm like old style, one take all the way through, and just hope for the best, kind of a YouTube producer. So anyways, and this show is typically meant to be listened to, and I think for the most part this episode can be listened to, although I do have this really groovy thing in front of me here that you might want to look at for a minute or two, or if you hear me say something interesting about it, maybe you'll want to rewind, take a look, whatever. This is a breakfast tea set made by Royal Grimwads, or it's not Royal Grimwads, Royal Winton. Oh great, now my battery's going dead. Unbelievable, I should have checked that. Well, let's see how long I have. Let's just try to make this quick. I had, you know, my last take was really good. And then it wouldn't work. Oh, that's just my life. Oh my gosh. Anyways, brand is Royal Winton. I believe this is like a Grimwads, like is like maybe the name of the style, and then the pattern is hazel. You can see right there. And at some point 20 years ago, this got broken. I'm not even going to say how. We'll save that because that turns into too long of a story. So I replaced it, and there's several sizes of cups, and there's like a cup that does not have this foot that actually probably would go here. And I got this footed one not knowing, because I couldn't remember what it looked like, because it was 20 years ago that the original cup got broken. So when I got this replacement, I just didn't know, and I'm like, okay, well that's good enough. But that was when I was planning on keeping this, and now I'm selling it. And the problem is it doesn't fit in this little well perfectly, so it's kind of obvious. And it has green writing on the bottom, and all the other pieces have blue writing. But I do think that it's still pretty valuable, and this is one of the more desirable patterns, and it was made in the 30s, And this particular one was owned by a guy named Paul Muni, who won an Academy Award for his starring role in the original Scarface movie, which is pretty cool. And the reason that I have it is because my grandmother was he and his wife, as they were aging, they had her come to the house, and she was kind of like a maid. Not a maid, I'm sorry. Like a nurse maid, I guess you could say. She was more of a, caretaker, is what I guess they would call it nowadays. But I think back then they would call them nursemaid kind of things. So that was like back in the 60s, I think late 60s, mid to late 60s. I'm not sure when exactly. But I do know that Paul Muni and his wife were at my parents' wedding in 1964. And they wanted to adopt my grandmother. So she said no. And I just have decided that, Paul Muni is my grandfather because, it's the thought that counts. So I think from here on out, now that I'm pushing 50, I can say this. Paul Muni is my granddad. I never knew the dude, but he's my granddad. Yeah, I'm going to say that a lot more often, see what kind of reaction I get from people who might actually know who he is. So anyways, I just decided this right now. I didn't decide this in my last video, but I'm deciding it now, because why not? So anyways, that's how we acquired this, and my mom had this, my grandmother had lived in this guest house of like an avocado ranch in Carpinteria, California, which is just south of Santa Barbara. And she lived in Santa Barbara most of her life, and I think it was once she got older, probably after all of the Paul Muni experience and stuff, she moved down to Carpinteria. But, and she just rented this cute little cottage. It was like a little surfer shack. It was cute. And it was behind this really big ranch house that the guy who owned a bunch of ranches and was pretty wealthy lived in the main house, and it was a pretty cool house. And they rented out the guest house to her, and they gave it to her really cheap. And she got lucky. Anyway, so the dude that owned the ranch, by the way, his name was Dude. Dude Baylord. And he had a whole bunch of ranches, the Baylord ranches. In fact, I think there's a road named Baylord Boulevard or something, in Carpinteria. There's just all kinds of cool ranches and stuff there with like avocados and citrus, and I mean, there's really no need to go to the grocery store. You just go up to a ranch and pull food off the trees. Like, it's amazing. No wonder people live in California. It's cool there. Anyways, so here's the deal. You're probably not going to find something like this at a thrift store for like $20 or $10 or a garage sale. I think anybody, regardless, even if they don't know anything about anything, is going to look at this and go, this looks like something that could be worth money. Like, it just, they're going to check it out, or they're going to try to get $100 for it. They could be like, well, I don't know what it is. We're having a garage sale. Let's see if we can get $100 for it, And if you go to a garage sale and somebody's selling this for $100 and you've got the wad, buy it. Because, especially if it's a chintz pattern, depending on condition and completeness and blah, 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 I think you could get $1,000 for this. Like, you might have to wait a little while, but I think you could. You're more likely to get 7 or 8. It would probably sell super fast for 6. So even if you spent $100 on something like this, even if all you wanted to do was $300, some other reseller doing, resale arbitrage on eBay would buy it and then resell it. In fact, I do believe it looks like one of these sold recently, the same exact set, same exact pattern, sold on eBay for somewhere around the $200 mark. I think under $3, if I'm not mistaken. Although I really need to look. Let's just say $300. And there's one right now listed for just under $900. And so I'm thinking that somebody bought this set on eBay and then turned around and put it back on eBay for like 3 times as much, which is freaking cool. And I am going to keep an eye out for this. And I probably shouldn't even be announcing this to the world. But I figure, you know, hardly anybody watches this. So what are the chances anybody's going to even do that? And I put the good karma out there, and people don't want to listen to me. They don't have to. The other thing is, like, when I bought this, it had a saucer. And I think I paid about $30, maybe $35 with shipping or something like that. No more than like $35. And that included shipping. And then I turned around and sold just the saucer, I think for like $24. 25, something like that, and that's not including shipping, and it went to Australia. So somebody in Australia paid a good $50 just for the saucer alone. Just a saucer to this cup. Amazing. And it sold fast. So that was pretty exciting. So even if you just find little pieces, and all of them are marked Royal Grimoires. And you can find a lot of the patterns either on eBay or replacements.com if you want to identify the pattern, because like this one doesn't say the pattern. Now these you might find really super cheap. This is a toast rack, and it looks like a letter. If it wasn't with this, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious you would put toast in there, but if somebody had this at a thrift store, they'd be like, what the hell is it? And they would think that you would put like letters in there. And you know what? It could be used for that. But that's not what it is. It is a toast rack. And I would sell this for like $40. Because these things are expensive. And if people need to replace it, they're going to be like, yeah, $40, I'm in, like Flynn. And that's really not that much when you think about it, especially, you know, with wages going up and everything, and Trump's creating all these jobs. So, like, prices are going up. That's it. I'm raising all my prices on eBay. But here's the thing. Like I said, like if you found tea sets like this, maybe you could pick them. Maybe somebody is just trying to get rid of it for $25. Maybe it costs you $10 and you're into it for $35. Well, you can split them up and make your money back. And yeah, that's kind of a lot of work, and it's not a lot of money to make, but the thing is they sell. And it's a good way to just kind of learn the market for expensive English tea sets and that kind of thing. Ainsley is another brand to look out for, and they have like some really cool patterns. I don't know which. I love the Ainsley. There's a lot of really cool Ainsley things. But I have always loved this and cherished this. You know, I don't know if I mentioned it, when my grandmother lived in that little guest cottage on the Baylord Ranch. She had this in this really cool, like, Art Deco black cabinet, and it just looks so striking, and it's really cool. Art Deco from the 30s. Or was Art Deco 20s? I don't remember. But anyway, she had, like, some cool Art Deco stuff, too. She had all kinds of cool things. You know, grandmas from back in the day always had cool things. Nowadays we have Kmart TV carts.